Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined today by one of the scariest people in our town growing up. The stories, the ghouls,
The motherfucker you seen Scooby-Doo.
the man, the myth, the legend, the one that has scared us when we were kids, adults, and now on to bigger and healthier things. Crazy Bob, everybody. Round of applause for Crazy Bob.
I am not worthy. I am not worthy. And yes, it is really Crazy Bob from the Haunted Hydro Dark Attraction Park in Fremont, Ohio for 34 years. Well, 34 years was before this
34
young kid,
years.
you know.
That's a long time, bro.
34 years.
You know what? That's a lot of time in a coffin.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. And I found out there's more to life than living in a coffin.
Is that so? Is that so?
We've
got questions, Bob. Let me tell you. You scared the shit. I want to open it up right away to something that
Scared shit.
I lived near you. I don't know if you knew this.
No.
I lived near you. And
You lived
as
on
a
Bush Street.
kid,
What part of the graveyard were you in?
I was on the left side.
Okay.
You can't tell he's ginger. He ain't got no soul.
had to sell cookies. Okay, I had to walk around the neighborhood and sell cookies, and it was right around Halloween time.
That's Girl Scout stuff.
That's what I say. He's in the
It
Girl
was
Scouts.
hey man, I was selling stuff because they were giving away Cavalier tickets.
That was
okay?
before
And I was trying to get
LGBTQ.
because back when you could sell stuff and get really cool items and not like what they do now, where they give you like a little blow up doll and they're like, poof, here you go. I wish they gave him a blow up doll. Anyways, I had to deliver a bunch of candy bars to everybody, so I'm walking door to door and everything, and I end up knocking
bars
on
and
your
cookies.
door.
You knocked
Something.
you knocked on my door or on my coffin?
I knocked. Oh no, you were out of the coffin because it was Halloween time. You were getting wild.
All right.
He said you were getting
When I
wild.
knocked on this man's door, he opened the door exactly like that.
He was like, what the
He
fuck
opened
do you
the
want?
door.
Why wouldn't I?
It scared. Dude, I swear to God, I'm like 8 or 9 years old. I'm
said-
just trying to sell cookies to the neighborhood. I think I live in a decent neighborhood. And when I
Cookies or
open, a
candy
person
bars?
opens up the door and they go, hello, I was like, I was like, sir, not right now. Come back later. And I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. It scarred me. I never
said, "I
tried to
want
sell
none."
another cookie again.
You
said, "I don't want none of these
now, wait a
motherfuckers'
minute.
cookies."
Let's get the story straight here. Let's get the story going back. You know, I suffer from a little thing because I can't remember dates. I can't remember names, but I can remember events pretty well for those 34 years. And all you people out there in the podcast land, well, I can't yell it, and I got to be real careful because the mic's real sensitive. Come here. Now, if you remember when you had those cookies.
Got him.
You know what?
That was
I
funny
did it
as
to him
fuck.
again, and it's been years since then, and I'm scarring him again. He's going to be on the podcast, the Booger Up.
You don't even know what the fuck he's at. He scared the
Yeah.
shit out of me right there, Bob. God damn it.
He said, where the fuck am I?
When we take a pause for the cause, when this podcast comes up, boys and girls, it's your job to clean what just happened.
Oh, they don't
No.
pick it up for
Well,
that.
it
sir,
won't be the
I
first time.
apologize.
Clean
I did
up a lot
not
of jizz in
remember
that chair.
You coming to the door, but when and if I ever have anybody coming to the door, I got to take advantage of it. You know what? I go to the grocery store probably once a week. They let me sneak out. And do you know what it's like to have a shopping cart and go through the grocery store?
Imagine going to Aldi's. You got to have a quarter to use their shopping cart.
That people don't know what hit them. Not at all. It's Halloween time. But it's just September. It's Halloween time. Yeah. So 34 years.
Yeah, 34
34
years. You ran one of the. It was, and he mentioned this. I wanted to ask you. You can ask it actually. Go ahead.
Wasn't it like during the 90s or something? It was like in the top 10 like haunted houses in Ohio.
Well, actually, we have gone in many different directions and many different activities for the Haunted Hydro. Now, for those of you that are listening in and you're not aware of what is a hydro, what the heck is a hydro? Well, it is a 1910 hydroelectric power plant that produced electricity for the city of Fremont from 1910
that's so
until
cool.
about 1945.
That's
It
so
had three
cool.
generators and a backup generator. Now, it did shut down at that point because it didn't have enough water coming down the Sandusky River on a yearly month-to-month basis. So they finally declared that, it's not economically feasible to rebuild and redo it, because at that point in 1940s, there was better methods of getting electricity,
Right,
and it was
right.
actually the coal burning style of industry that produced electricity. So to get back to the story, the haunted hydro itself started out not as the hydroelectric power plant. It started back in 1988 when I purchased a big piece of property in Fremont. They told me it had a cemetery on it. They lied.
Is that a lie?
Yeah, well, there was animals buried there.
Oh, pet
That
cemetery.
was one of the questions I had. Was one of the rumors
There
of the
was-
town is that it was on a Native American burial ground or something like that.
Well, actually, now you're bringing up the truth. You see, it was the powwow area
oh my gosh.
for the Indians, the Wyandotte Indians, and
shout
that was
out.
the
That's where I'm from.
meeting grounds for trading and things of that nature.
Okay.
And the settlers and things of that nature, because back then there wasn't such a thing. It was just a river,
Right.
and it actually right at the point where the hydroelectric power plant is, a quarter of a mile away, is the largest clay deposits on the Sandusky River. Now, why is that important? Well, for the early settlers, you didn't buy China because you couldn't ship it from England and bring it to the States. You
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
So they came there and they would get the clay for their pottery and things of that nature. They would come there and get the clay to make various items that was necessary to live.
Okay.
And after that point, there's arrowheads found all the time. There is bones that from time to time are Native American situations, I believe, and there have been some documented cases of it. There is a rumor well, it's actually not a rumor. There is in the history at the Hayes Presidential Center.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Well, they keep an accurate record of everything around in this area, from the earliest of settlers, for the wars and the activities, the territorial disputes, and of the newly American type situations, but also of the Indians and things of that nature. So they know who owned the property in the early days, which was not even a true boundary markers. It was just settlements that were built when they found close water and proximities. They found camping and trees to make shelters with and things of
Right.
that nature. So there was a lot of history there. And actually, I still own a lot of the booklets and activities from that. We actually dedicated a building on the hydro area that was every bit of strips of information and old photographs and things of that nature that I could get. And we were able to secure the entire property rights from 1903 all the way up to the current owner of when I owned it for the 34 years.
Holy shit.
So-
That's insane.
That's nuts.
It's pretty amazing. And also, we have pictures of the 1911 flood where it just decimated everything that they had built to build the plant. So the buildings was built in 1910. It operated for a few months, and then the Great Flood of 1911 hit the city of Fremont, flooded everything for the city of Fremont. Now, it really wasn't called Fremont back then, by the way. It had a different name, but it was not Fremont. It was a different name under the assumption there. But there was no flood walls. They didn't even know what the heck a flood wall was.
Okay.
But it flooded and everything else. And in all the area where it is now on Tiffin Road, completely was under 10 to 15 feet of water.
Okay.
And there were deaths in the water because of drownings and things of that
right.
nature.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So there is a historical documentation of the 1913 flood, the 1911 flood, and then 1950s. There was another massive flood. Generally speaking, the Army Corps of Engineers dictates that once every 500 years there is going to be a catastrophic flood that just decimates the entire areas. Now, it has happened several different times on several different levels. But the 500-year floods were back in 1911 and 1913 and did historic damage and destroyed everything in downtown Fremont, which is where it is now. Back in the early, I believe it was the 70s, they did flood wall decisions and tried to make it so that the city of Fremont could survive other floods, because there was lots more floods that flooded downtown. So that's the story. There was deaths, there was drownings, and there is things that are paranormal that are at that building, and they are documented by the Bowling Green drama department and the film department.
Oh yeah, I was definitely
video
getting there.
department.
I was definitely getting there
So
to that part right there. 'cause
And
that's,
we work with Orbs. That's a organization that is extremely well versed and has great equipment to work with. If you ever get ORBS, Orbs, make sure you check them out. They do that usually once every 2-3 months, year round. And so most of the time they're booked out, so you need to call and book it in advance or find out when they're doing it. So that's a little bit about the original activity, but we started with a barn.
really?
Haunted Hydro, which was the early years. We started in a maintenance barn on a golf course that was adjacent to where the current Haunted Hydro is.
Okay.
And we had a hay wagon right over there, and we decorated up the maintenance barn. And then we found out, oh my God, this is so much fun.
And what year is this again?
That was 1989 when we first started.
Okay.
We
So
bought the
you-
property in 1988, and in 1989
Took a year to build
it
up.
took a year to build up and get everything ready. It also came with a golf course.
Yeah,
With
Rivercliff.
Rivercliff?
Crazy Bob had a golf course.
That was Green Hills.
It was
Rivercliff.
it
Oh,
was
Rivercliff.
called-
Sorry, yeah. not
Prior
Green
to Rivercliff, it was called Thornwood Golf Course.
Hills. Oh wow. Okay.
Thornwood Golf Course, a regulation 9-hole with 2 sets of tees, and so you could play 18 holes.
Yeah.
And do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I only played it once.
Really?
I threw the clubs everywhere. And
own
somebody
the golf
said,
course, you
and
only played it
somebody
once?
said I threw them at them. Can you imagine me throwing clubs at somebody?
Oh no.
Yes.
When you
Does he have to move up on his mic a little
No,
bit?
it's all right.
Okay. Cool.
when you
Am
bought
I-
the
It sounds fine.
okay, we're good.
when you bought the land, was it your plan to build a haunted house or
Nope. I
Like
bought
what?
it because it had a banquet hall. Crazy Bob loved to make music. Boy, did I make music.
Did you?
I got in a lot of trouble for it, too. I almost had 3 more babies. I don't understand how,
That's
but
awesome.
DJs were popular back then. So,
My man was dipping his wick.
So, no, it's called zipper problem, buddy. The police call it that anyway, and I don't know why I know that, but anyway, the object is that with the DJ business, we did it for a number of years, and we had 3 different sound systems, and we did over 1,000 weddings. We did it for 19 years.
Wow.
And it led into I wanted a banquet hall.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to have entertainment. I wanted to have more fun than should be allowed by law.
Amen, brother.
Anyway, so there was a banquet hall at the golf course.
This guy's had a lot of years on that laugh. That's a good laugh.
And all I can tell you is that it fit the needs of what we wanted. We started doing company corporation picnics. We started doing weddings with class reunions, and all kinds of things that just came right in, as well as leagues for volleyball, horseshoes and championship pits. And we had 5 sand volleyball.
Man, you guys did a
Dang,
lot of stuff
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
buddy,
active.
we haven't stopped yet. In fact, as we go through tonight, you're going to see the new Crazy Bob. I don't do that very often.
Oh.
But Crazy Bob is here tonight to tell you about the history. And he forced me to put the coat on, and he forced me to, make sure I uncovered the. I usually wear a skin patch that covers up the blood. the
Right.
bullet
Right.
hole.
Yeah. When you
Yeah,
went
Yeah.
Give me your finger.
Give him your finger. Ha
Lick it, baby.
Look it, you won't. Ah, he's bad. You're a bad boy. Wash it down with a little bit of high life.
Oh, no, he told me before, he says, do something so I can drink a beer every once in a while. I figured that would go good. So, but
like shit.
so we did this to get a banquet hall. We also had a golf course clubhouse for Thornwood Public Golf Course. And it had a little restaurant in it and all kinds of stuff. Boy, you should see the stuff I could cook on a grill.
Oh, was that so?
Finger foods, you know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah.
Finger foods.
Don't they fall through the
Yeah.
cracks?
Everybody wonders why I got into the Halloween business. Free meat.
You're not wrong.
Free meat.
Free meat, baby.
Finger foods. You know, a lot of people went into the hydro, and for some strange reason, everybody says there's not very many people coming out. All I can tell you is that there are 3 turbo pits in that building. You know what a turbo pit is?
What's that?
Boy, you guys are just virgins. As an
Kinda.
engineer, you know, an amateur engineer, that's where the water went down, and as it went down, it was called a corkscrew shaft. Kind of like
Right.
a slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the slide turned because the water forced it as a gear, and the shaft turned and then was on a cog.
Okay.
Now, if you imagine, you know, knuckles on 2 different sprockets catching it, it would be vertical, and then it would be horizontal going into the building, which went over to a generator. And then there's a big building in there that had the 3 generators in there, plus an emergency generator.
Did they leave them?
They were there until all scrap metal was collected for the war efforts. And they took everything out except there is one item in there which nobody really knows and nobody ever sees, but it's been there the entire time. The overhead trolley system for the entire length of the building, which is 140 feet and 45 feet wide. There is a overhead trolley which would pick up the generators. Ever so often, about every three years, they had to be rewound and changed
Yeah,
to
maintenance.
produce the electricity for it, and they would pick it up and move it. Well, that trolley system is not electric. It produced electricity for that building, but if the building was shut down, there was no electricity really being made.
Right.
Not enough to power a huge overhead trolley.
Right.
So it's a manual.
Oh wow.
You have to pull the chains to lift something that's probably I'm just guesstimating. I have no true knowledge, but it's probably 5 to 7 tons
Wow.
Holy
of
shit.
windings.
Wow.
And you pulled that up, and then you had to pull a different set of chains to pull the trolley to run it down the building and to put it into a very large wagon with 14 to 16 wheels that dispersed the weight and everything.
Okay.
And then it would go to a factory somewhere,
Right.
and then be rewound.
Does it? Can you still use it till this day?
It can be still used.
Wow.
That's so
That's
cool.
nuts.
I moved it about 3 years ago.
That's so cool, dude.
I hung something up that I had to move. Bodies rot.
Had to move them.
I had to move it.
That's
It
so
was getting
cool.
ripe, if you know what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I know.
So anyway,
No, you don't know.
so that's what is still there. It does qualify it if it ever goes to somebody else's hands. By the way, it's no longer in my hands. I cleaned my hands of it about 4 months ago, but it has that, and that qualifies it in many different ways to be a historical national registry structure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But along with that, that means you've got to put it historically back.
Right, it's how it was.
And I don't want people finding the bodies. I did something there that was a no-no.
He said they can keep them.
They don't want to find them.
That's
There
what I'm
is a
saying, keep
basement.
'em.
By the way, there is a basement, a truly honest area.
Not like a crawl space.
It's 12 feet wide, and it's the distance of it horizontally is 40 feet. The building is 44 feet, so it's not a crawl space, and it's
Oh
solid.
yeah, that's big.
It's solid, but there's also ceramic terminals in there where the cables came down and did something in that room. Now, whether it was some sort of a power shutdown situation for each generator, because I imagine the generators produced like one leg on each side.
Yeah.
3 legs
Yeah.
per generator, so there'd be 9 legs going down there.
Right.
Now, I do not know. We could not find anything, and I've never seen architectural plans of the building when it was in full operational. But there's bound to be something somewhere by somebody. So if you're out there and you're listening and you got something of that nature, hey, find me, Crazy Bob, Fremont, Ohio. I would love to either make a copy of it and give it to the new owner, and I'd also like to keep a copy for myself. Or
Yeah.
if you want to sign it and date it that you gave it to us, then we would be happy to put it in the museum.
That'd be
That'd be
all,
cool.
yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
with it being that close to the Sandusky River all them years, it never like flooded in the basement or anything. Like,
Oh yeah, there are marks in the building which we never changed. There are marks in the building. The 1913 flood was actually up inside the building almost 7 feet.
Wow.
holy,
It flooded everything.
Wow.
Flooded everything.
yeah. So you can
kinda cool.
imagine having all them generators down there. They're just fried.
Well, they can shut it down, but once the moisture gets in the windings,
Yeah.
they're done.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah.
Especially during those years, and
Right.
that situation.
Man, and imagine the price to fix that or completely rebuild it too.
And they had to do it twice.
Twice.
Not once, but twice. 1911 got up about 2-3 feet in the building. 1913 was a bigger flood, and it was actually about 7 feet inside the building. Now, there is big architectural, the building itself, inside the building, the windows are massive arch windows. And the ceilings inside the building are 44 feet tall.
oh
So
my
the
God.
windows,
Oh, it's tall.
the windows facing the river, and there's I think there's 5 massive windows that were all the way arched up, and they were curved at the top, rounded at the top. And we've got pictures of those from the early years. So we do have pictures of that
That's
nature.
so cool.
So
Did you ever
Man.
like give tours?
we
Other
did.
than the haunted.
We did. A lot of times when we would do press programs and things of that nature, a lot of people wanted to see what it looked like when the lights were on. I always liked doing it in the dark.
There you go.
But, if they're pressed, then you need to keep them happy. So,
Yeah.
and it wasn't my fault that guy from NBC fell down the steps.
Fuck it.
Had
Should have been
nothing to do with
standing there.
Sucker, you better not argue with me next time.
Hell
So,
no.
But anyway,
Feed him to Toby.
but we did do tours, and actually for the paranormal groups, they get to go in, and now each thing could be changing with the new owner, but we put them in at 10 o'clock at night, lock the doors, and then they were the only ones inside the building, so they could do their setting of their instrumentation and their videos of
Right.
infrared and the heat and all the other stuff. So
Involved in that, what is the craziest things that have happened when they go in there and investigate?
without a doubt, go to YouTube and Google in YouTube haunted hydro, and you will see probably 15 to 20 different movies that are documentations, not by us, but by the people who were in there, and they are the ones to tell you what they saw. Me, I just took it for normal.
Yeah, I would imagine.
He's like, hey, yo,
Just very
Sydney,
right in.
keep it down over there.
Actually, in the beginning, I actually lied to people. Oh, we don't have any ghosts here. Why? Because I lost staff. Staff would run.
Really?
They get shook up.
Really, I
They
heard.
go to the
I heard
hydro.
Yeah,
Where,
there's a guy, and I think they still live in Woodville. Les and Tara Burrow, husband-wife team, and Les came up with the name, and they called him Concrete Man. Now,
Okay.
he would be walking, and you could hear absolute, real footsteps, and they weren't shoes; they were boots, and you could hear
Yeah.
him walking at different points in different places, and everybody started saying, "Oh, it's so and so, or it's such and such, and it's so and so," and it didn't go away; it kept staying there.
Yeah.
Then there's also a little girl. Now I myself heard the Concrete Man. I just lied. I said it was me.
Yeah, of course, because you don't want to have all these people running away.
Yeah, they did. I would lose anywhere from 5 to 10 people every year. And a lot of people would refuse to go back in it. And sometimes they would just walk out the door saying, "That's it, I'm gone."
I know a lot of the high school kids too that work at the movie theaters, like in downtown Fremont. Like they refuse to work the night shift. They say it's pretty haunted up there.
Well, any old building's going to creak, rattle, and groan.
Right.
Yeah.
And any old building that's on the river faces dual thermal issues because they've got cold water and they've got a building that's been baking during the sun
And warm, yeah.
and warm. So iron pings. This is another engineering thing, but and I checked a lot of different activities because it's like you got to prove to me that it's more than just Mr. Joe Blow walking,
Right.
walking
Right,
in the
right, right.
building. So, but the re-rod in that particular building is almost 2 inches thick. That's twice the size of my thumb.
Yeah, that's
The
thick.
re-rod
Yeah.
has to hold back thousands of pounds of water. And water's consistency by weight is like 7 pounds to the gallon. And imagine a flood holding cell that weighs so much weight, it has to have the strength to hold all of that water in.
Yeah.
And when the water's going down that turbo pit, its forces pushing out. So it has to be contained so that the water continues to push that
Right.
spinning wheel. So there's a lot of structure, a lot of stress on that building.
Yeah.
The ceiling on the building is actually 20 inches thick, is cement.
Gosh.
It is a cement building because otherwise it'd rip the top. If it was just a wood top, it'd rip it.
Right.
Have you had to patch it then over the years?
Never had to touch it.
That's
That's
nuts.
wild.
Never had to touch it.
That's
That's
It gets
insane.
surface flack, and it's been reconditioned back long before I acquired it. And I acquired it in 1993 from the original owner. I had usage of it a little before that, just with
Right.
an agreement.
yeah.
But I bought the building in 1993. And maybe 10 years before that, they had gone in and done a surface preparation. So the outer skin flacking was minimal.
So have you never, because you mentioned that you've visually have heard and potentially seen or whatever of the cement man, but
I've never seen it. I visually know that it was there because I could feel it walking through me.
what?
And I let everybody else make their own decision.
Yeah.
On the YouTubes, I am emphatic that I want nothing to say or nothing to do so that people are not feeling coerced,
Biased,
Yeah.
right.
biased or coerced into admitting something that yay or nay. And that's proven to be a very good format. We've had Thor. We've had Ohio Paranormal Institute, which, by the way, did a complete television program for 44 minutes of what they found and how they found it. And when they came, they had 3 rider trucks that were box trucks that were about 20 foot with the
Yeah.
Okay.
boxes
Yeah.
packed wall to wall, top to bottom with instrumentation, and they set up like 17 cameras in all different parts, which were unified on a monitor that collected all of them simultaneously.
Yeah, you could see them all at once
You could see them
on
all
a
at
screen.
once, so that
Yeah.
if they saw it go from one vision to the other vision to the other vision,
They could follow.
Right.
Yeah.
they could follow it and they could do different things. And the same thing was true with their sound because they mic'd. Oh my God, they mic'd everything that you could possibly imagine.
I'd imagine. I mean, they have to, in a sense.
From the ceiling to the middle of the building to the bottom of the building to the pit in the bottom of the basement.
Right.
They did all that. They did the outside areas around the building because they wanted to see if it was traffic or if it was weather conditions or things of that nature or sounds of animals, natural habitat
Right.
on the river. And we, by the way, have an eagle's nest that is probably 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
You ever seen an eagle catch a fish and that fish is squealing like a little pig?
No, I haven't, not that part. No.
Oh yeah, and
I've seen
the
an
river's
eagle's
right
nest,
there
though.
beside you.
Yeah.
And cranes, when the cranes go down for things of that nature, and of course, we have raccoons, we have skunks, we have everything.
You got a
of
lot
that
of deer.
You got a lot of natural wildlife, and you don't know what those sounds are. And when the mating season comes around,
Yeah.
it's even more interesting to see
Yeah,
what the hell's going on.
My noises be crazy.
So all I can tell you is it's an interesting thing. But after 34 years, I think I've heard it all,
I would
including humans.
Oh yeah. I would imagine that would have to be a
Every
thing
once in a
over there.
while, I catch people sneaking in.
Oh, really?
They'd like to do the dirty at the haunted hydro.
You catch people like trespassing?
Hey!
That's crazy.
Hey, what are you doing over here? You didn't invite me.
Right, right.
He walks up with the blood on his head. Just like, hey,
Yeah, literally,
what
he's
are
like,
we doing?
And then you hear screaming, and somebody's running, trying to grab their clothes, and they're running right out there.
Like,
I tell you what, it's
I'm
the funniest thing you've ever
I would
seen.
imagine.
Oh,
I would
dude.
imagine.
Never ever take a video of it though.
I'm like, nice ass.
You get in trouble. Hey, you want to watch this, boys, girls? Come on, watch this. It's like, oh my God, that's bad.
So involved with all the investigations that have happened there. Did you believe beforehand, before they got there, that it was haunted, or was that something that was proven to you?
Well, that's a two-edged sword. Did I believe in the paranormal before then?
Did you believe in the paranormal there?
I believe that I have a communication with my grandmother.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, I don't know that I've heard voices in my head, and I don't believe in that format, but I do believe that I've received positive power from my grandmother. Her name was Nola Nip, a true
Shout
German
out.
name, and she's long past, of course, but through the different things that I've done, I would look up and just, Granny, what am I supposed to do? Type of thing. So
Yeah.
And she was my granny. That was what I called her as a little kid. But I do believe that I had some guidance from something, and to me that was the strongest connection I could understand as a preteen, a teenager, and then when I was about 24, she passed away, and after that point, I've always looked at her photograph, and she's a blessing to a positive situation.
100%, yeah.
But as far as answering to something that, it's a ghost. I'm a ghost.
Okay.
True.
I touch, I feel, I smell,
Yeah.
I fart.
I do be ripping that ass.
I rip them, baby.
Oh,
Girls run like hell. Anyway, and if you have an ex-wife or a wife you want it to be an ex, eat lots of beans. Eat lots of beans.
oh man, egg salad's a good
Is
one
it a wife you
too.
want to be
Egg
an
Egg
salad in a
salad.
Dutch
You
oven.
get the drift, my man. You
Egg
get the
salad with a Dutch oven.
So does she.
drift. So, but to answer the true question that you're really at, the second part of that sword, the other side, is that did I believe that you could have paranormal? I've watched
all the TV
TV shows and all that kind of stuff, and some of it's real hokey, some of it's marginally understandable, and then there's a few, a golden few, that actually come in to see if they can duplicate it. Because if they can't duplicate it with what is confirmed by somebody else, then you have to start from scratch and go all through the whole
Right.
soul process
Okay, yeah.
and everything else. Well, that's when I say go to YouTube,
You gotta, like, reverse
watch to see what
engineer
was
it.
done at the Haunted Hydro, what they've done, and I myself created a mirror. It was called a shattered mirror.
Okay.
So it had a mirror intact, but it was crackled.
Okay.
It wasn't broken.
Right, it was just
crackled.
cracked all over, like a
was
bunch of
cracked all
spider
over.
web. Yeah,
Correct.
I gotcha.
And the Bowling Green video department, which had been given a gift of $1 million to rebuild and restart from scratch with all their activities. They came the year after the building was completed, and they had multiple cameras, they had sound systems, they had, and it was all college kids that wanted to say, "That's Crazy Bob's full of bullshit."
Right.
Okay, well, prove me wrong.
Oh God, I love this.
And when they came in, they set up different things, and they didn't do it once. They did it twice, because the first time, half of the kids left.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Half of the kids left. They went out and sat in a bus.
They're like, fuck this.
Really?
And the second time they came, they were better prepared. They did more documentation. They did more activities. And they themselves, and this particular item, I went in the next night after they had finished their first initial filming. And I went to the mirror and I took photographs. If they can see it, why can't I? And I did get something because I took the picture early in the night, and then because a lot of times I'd go in and work in the building.
Right.
And for me to work in there when there's nobody else there, it's peaceful, it's quiet.
Right.
And for small business people, there's no cell phones being used. There's no interruptions by somebody coming in. Hey, Bob, you want another shot of Jack? You know.
Well, I'm sure 20-foot walls of concrete, you don't get any cell phone reception
Actually,
in there.
they're 3 foot thick. The walls are 3 foot solid concrete, and no, you cannot receive. Most people cannot receive any cell phone inside the hydro of the building itself. The courtyard area, yes, but not inside the building. And what we had to do was actually have a tether line with an antenna outside, and then bring it inside and put an Ethernet connection so we could get signals inside the building. And that worked really good, but the problem was the building kept getting struck by lightning. And the lightning would hit our little antenna.
Oh my gosh.
And then fry everything.
My gosh.
We lost about 7 antennas in the 30.
Why does the
34
lightning
years.
keep hitting it? Because of the antenna?
No. Where's the building located?
On the
By
river.
the river?
Where does river water go? It goes to the lowest level area. It's a natural grounding rod.
Gotcha. And it's massive.
It's massively low, and it's where the water flows. So
Makes sense.
And the building is right there in the water, because the turbo pits led back out to the river, and it went back down the river.
You're talking basically in a couple feet.
Yeah. No, right in it.
Yeah.
Right
Has
in it.
erosion taken any effect on it?
No, not really, because that was built solid.
Okay.
It was poured as one concrete pad, and it was, again, sometimes the things that were built back in the early 1900s
Shit was built to last.
it was built to last, and it has proven itself over and over and over and over, because we've had a lot of big floods and things of that nature. But for that reason, I could stay there at night, work, and not be interrupted, and there would be many things that just were out of the norm even for me. So there was a girl, and we all agree it's a smaller child, probably 6 to 8 years of age, 5 to 8 years of age, somewhere in that rail. And we found that one of the original settlers, who was a farmer, him and his wife, and he had 5 kids. And at the time, the land was not titled. It was just where people built and grew their farms and
just
everything else.
settled.
So eminent domain was declared, and they forced the settlers out of there to put in the hydroelectric power plant.
Okay.
All he had to his name was the farm that he was doing, the animals he was raising, the things that he did for other people, which was minor carpentry and things of that nature. We do have his name, but I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And it is documented. They came in with eminent domain because he had refused to move. His wife wanted to leave, and the children were in that situation. He hung himself in the cabin.
Holy shit.
Right there on the property where the hydro is today.
Oh my gosh.
And the littlest child in that family was a female, 6 to 8 years of age, 5 to 8 years of age.
Yeah.
And so we think that this is the wailing of that daughter.
Oh my.
And you can
gosh.
clear as a bell. There's a gentleman here in Fremont who was my host. I'm in Clyde, sorry, but in Fremont, he was a history teacher for the Fremont Junior High for 30 years.
Who was it?
Jeff George was his name.
Mr. George.
Mr. George, Jeff George at Fremont Junior High School. He's now currently still working as a agent for Welty Financial And he can, to this day, he hosted most of my paranormal activities because he could tell all about the history of Fremont. He could tell all about the history of the building. And he himself has heard multiple times that little girl.
That's
That's
wild.
so wild.
Because he was there more than I was in situations of that nature.
Yeah.
And clear as a bell, not muffled, not argumentally that it was something up the road or
Right.
at the top of the hill, which is the Lady of the Pines,
Yep.
a Catholic nun retreat. And God bless them. They were very gracious to me for many, many years and allowing me to do my activities for everybody. And I wish them the very best. But there was no sounds outside the building. There were different microphones set up in different places. And inside of a 3-foot thick concrete wall, we could hear people. We could hear people. And there was nothing on the outside of the building.
That's nuts.
yeah, that's wild.
So, you know, Jeff George, still alive today, and he did it probably, I want to say he probably did it for 12 years for me.
Wow. And
And at different times of the years, at the spring, in the summer, in the fall, in the winter, because we had people that wanted to come in the wintertime when that was the only time they could all get together. We
Right.
had people from Canada, all over the United States, come as groups and rent the facility from me because they wanted absolutely nobody else in there. And it's like, well, okay, you're paying for the premium.
right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
You know, I gotta be somehow able to pay for the coffins.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Did people? Did you ever sleep in there? You ever take?
I have fallen asleep in there more times than I wish to tell.
And nothing ever happened. Like you never slept there overnight.
I've had situations where when I wake up the next morning, it was the weirdest damn thing I've ever thought about.
You get
Some of them were very
Vaseline on
sexy
your-
too, by the way.
Nice.
Do people like try to stay there?
Oh yeah, and we've allowed them to. I mean, in fact, I prefer that they come at the evening because then we are shut down from working. We're shut down from interruptions with deliveries or
Right.
or whatever the case may be. And a lot of good people work together as volunteers to help me continue from the day we started to my last day there. And I want to say thank you as a shout out to everybody who was there as part of my staff for
small
Beth
round
and
of
Bob
applause.
Turner. So yeah, thank you guys very, very much.
3.5
Yeah, I mean,
decades.
yeah,
That's
that's
a good run.
Yeah.
That's
well,
wild.
actually, that we are in the top 5% of people still surviving in an industry that has gone far beyond. And when I say that, places like Universal Studios in Orlando and Walt Disney World, and
Right.
the two
Cedar
locations,
Point.
and Cedar Point. And actually, Cedar Point never started their haunted events. We were in business for 15 years before they ever were.
Oh, wow.
But they bought a place called Dorhey Park, which was in California, and it was doing Halloween events long before any other major parks. And at that particular time, we were a golf course. We were a sports complex type of facility. We had banquets for all different kinds of
That's
companies
wild
and
because I never knew
corporations.
that. I never knew that
So,
it wasn't
you know,
the hydro the whole time.
It was the hydro the whole time. And we also, for 4 years before I finally shut and sold the golf course, we did the Renaissance Festival there.
Okay.
We had 4 years of a Renaissance Festival, hired some of the best jousters, and had 3 major stages and running.
That's so
But
cool.
what happened was that when 9/11 occurred and the terrorist attack was in September 11th, 2001, fear and terror was not a business to be in.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, again, we did many, many good things for the military. We did many good things for the firemen. In fact, we just finished my last official charity was with the Ohio Safety Team this year. Back in June, we did a bike rally to raise money. I think we raised a couple of $1,000s for one of the firemen in New York for
That's awesome.
his funding. That is a charity and a scholarship type program. So There again, that was with the Ohio Safety Team, which I'm an honorary member of, because they do a lot of great things and a lot of good activities. And they were staffing for my parking. They were staffing for my EMTs. When you have several thousand people, I don't care what's going on.
Right.
Never know what's going on. Some of them are just drunk. Some of them are just stupid, and some of them are way out there.
I would imagine you would have a couple staff.
Do you
that
know
were-
the word Narcan? Well, let me tell you, baby.
Oh shit!
Oh my gosh! Oh Lord!
And we also are the Haunted Hydro has the infamous title with the American Red Cross back in 2007. We had an unfortunate situation, which was actually from Clyde, Ohio. A young lady, again, no names are given, but it's documented with the American Red Cross. 5 of us were given a certificate for saving a life.
Really?
She came in. She was with not her usual boyfriend. She was with a guest of the boyfriend. She came in. She never got inside the building. She went to one of the vendors where he had merchandise and sales and all that kind of stuff. And she went over to get a necklace, a glow-in-the-dark necklace.
Yeah.
And she fell to the ground.
Oh my!
And she had no pulse. She had no breathing. And the gentleman who was with us as the EMT at the time jumped right into action, and we had no defibrillator, because at that time most people didn't have defibrillators.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we did get the sheriff's department to respond with a defibrillator in less than 2.5 minutes.
Holy shit!
And the gentleman who was my EMT at the time, who worked for me personally, jumped in, and on the they gave artificial respiration. We had an oxygen tank there, and she was given some oxygen at the same time as we were going back through all of the process. And all I can tell you is that on the deputy arrived, he brought the defibrillator over, and my EMT says, I started it, I continue it, not as a good Samaritan, but as a certified EMT.
Right.
And as the first responder. On the first jolt, nothing. On the second jolt, nothing. The sheriff says it's time to pull it, and he says, this is my call. And on the third time of the defibrillator, he did the resuscitation, and it came back good. She was life-flighted to Toledo. She lived for 6 more months because she had already previously had 4 heart attacks prior to our location.
Oh my gosh!
Oh wow!
She was with a guest, but she literally was supposed to be wearing a necklace called a DNR.
Oh.
Do not resuscitate.
Oh.
Her family here in Clyde thanked us very graciously because she was able to have Christmas with the family. But
my!
sometime in March, her last situation took the life of the young lady. But 5 of my people, including myself, have a nice leather-bound edition that says, congratulations on your heroic award for saving a life. So
That's
awesome.
So there is another one that was legitimately dead at the Haunted Hydro.
No, that's where we get all the way to the end of that. Okay.
And who knows what really, God rest the soul of anybody who goes through that situation. But there is things there that just transists into many different situations. Sorry about that. I'm looking over at you have a powerhouse guy back there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And who's that name? The guy back there?
Taylor.
Taylor. If I screw up, just get the bullwhip
fine,
out.
you're
I like those kind of things.
No, don't tell him that. We screw up a lot.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Yeah.
Hey, don't give him no
Yeah.
weapons.
Taylor, I know how to make that bullwhip crack, baby. Trust me. Those girls love it.
So you're not. So since you're not the owner of the hydro anymore, are the new owners still cool enough to let you just come in and walk around? Or,
Let me explain, because
I'd love a tour, dude. I love history.
the major operations of that type of activity. At one time, we had 9 different major attractions. We had a haunted golf cart trail. I had a golf course. So we had a haunted golf cart trail.
Wow.
Everybody's got the hay wagons and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we had a hay wagon too, and it went back through where we had the Renaissance Village, and we had a maze, a wooden maze with fencing and everything. They took the banquet hall and turned it into the Beetlejuice playground.
Okay.
And we had a full commercial kitchen, so we produced finger fries.
Yeah.
Oh, did we produce the finger fries? And of course, you got some chili and Tabasco sauce on it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Tabasco
sir.
sauce.
Need that. A little spicy.
A little. No, well, it gave it the red like ketchup, if you know what I mean. So anyway, all kinds of good
thinking
stuff.
about food and spicy shit. I'm like, that's not what he's talking about. Nick, he's not talking about.
All you
Tabasco.
out there in podcast land, just use your imagination. That's all I can tell you. But we did that, and we had the haunted hydro. We had paintball. And I will say there was a great group of guys that participated, and we went through all kinds of craziness, but it was the Ballville Fire Department, a volunteer fire department, and those guys needed money for a fire engine. They needed money for new suits. They needed money for equipment. So I came up with this great idea. A fireman's suit is very heavy.
Calendar shoot.
It's like Carhartt's, only it's double the thickness of a Carhartt.
Right.
And
Fire
it's treated
resistant.
with fire treatment. So, and it's got insulation on and kind of, I don't think it really has tin foil on the inside, but Kevlar, Mylar, or something or another. Anyway, they got all kinds of stuff to keep the heat out. But what I really was doing was, hey guys, you want to make some money? Well, let me tell you how it is. Come on down, and Crazy Bob's got a moneymaker for you. And at the time, it was only $3. It was only $3. And I got about 15 paintball guns. And you have those little holster.
Yeah, the big old,
the big loaders in there. And you could get 30 shots for $3.
That's a deal.
That's a deal.
That's a deal
for the shooter.
That's a deal for the shooter, but that's a bad thing. Those poor guys were out there, and they got the helmets and they got the.
I'm like, I'll take two clips, please.
They were teasing me saying, we want windshields that just go like this because they're getting plastered with yellows and reds, and because you have to have different colors.
Yeah.
Because if you got everybody shooting blue or everybody shooting red,
you're not going to see.
Nobody knows where they're hitting. Yeah. So you have to have that, and of course. Some of these people that did the deal, the $3 deal, they could buy a $10 one. That was a good deal, because we sold a lot of $10 ones. They made money, they did good, and we thanked them. They did it for several different years, and finally, some of the older guys says, "We're not doing that no more. That hurts. That still hurts." And we turned the air down on those guns. You can control
with the
turn it
CO2
down, and and all this, and there were times where the pod didn't even break. But the problem with it,
the worst.
Oh my God.
But the problem was it's October, and in
It's
October
cold.
it's cold, and when it's cold,
so
those
these are
things don't turn into soft pellets.
You
They
gotta-
turn
they're
into
like-
ice
they're
balls.
like
You
frozen.
had to get the other paintball because there's two different seasons of paintballs. I'm not.
At that time, there was just one type of paintball,
Just
boys.
one tape.
Just one type of paintball. And I even went down there and shot some of them.
I'm like, let me get two clips, please.
All I can tell you is it was a lot of fun. And we've worked with many different charities. The year that we had the terrorist attack was probably the funniest year because normally we did 10,000 plus people in a matter of one month, going anywhere from 13 days to 19 days. When that occurred, we had a dunk tank, which we used during the summer for the games and activities with companies and corporations and all that kind of stuff. So we got the dunk tank, and we brought it down there. Now, please, everybody's going to pick on me because of you shouldn't have done that. That's not right. That's racist. We put Osama bin Laden, and you threw the balls to dunk Osama bin Laden. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins, and anything else out there that's on this podcast, I will tell you we raised money for the families of the warriors.
I love that.
We gave it to the Army that particular year, and we did because that year was a bloodbath for us, and that's not a nice term that we use.
Yeah.
Because fear and terror was not a good business, and all we could do was just survive that year.
Right.
We only did about 4,000 people.
Okay.
Which means we didn't even cover
Yeah,
cost.
not even, yeah.
It didn't even cover cost. And actually, my staff that year came back, and over half of them donated the money back so that we could open the next year in 2002.
That is beautiful.
Oh,
That is
dude.
awesome.
And
You see,
all I can think
I got
about-
goosebumps.
All I could think about is that dude up there volunteering to sit there and the amount of shit that was talked to him. And he's like, I'm here getting paid.
He actually wore a turban.
Yeah, I would
And he
imagine
wore all the
so.
stuff, and he'd get down there, and he had a wetsuit on underneath.
Uh-huh.
It was that cold. We put those propane cylinders underneath the because it was a metal deck
Yeah,
and
to
a metal
try and
tank
keep it warm.
to try to keep it warm for him.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Buddy,
you
when they say
imagine-
crazy Bob,
you
I say
imagine?
they say crazy. I'm crazy.
Bro, I can just see a little family.
So,
This is for America.
But
Dude.
every year we would do something, and we would do a donation. And the other thing that we did, just as for fun, because you asked about what did we do, we have received for Big Brothers Big Sisters the founding award for them. We received year after year after year the JC's Partnership Award because we used the JC's for the first 7 years as our staff and our programs. But we had what was called Sledge a Car. Oh my God!
yeah.
That's where you have a choice of a handheld mini sledge, or you could do an 8-pounder, 10-pounder, or the big boy pounder, 12. And you could do it with $1 a hit, or you could do it for $20 till you couldn't hit it anymore.
What a deal.
You probably
That's
probably racking a lot of
$20 every
20s,
time.
Yeah, I'm going to throw 20 at that for sure. Get some stress
and
out.
how many times can you hit till you can't hit it no more?
Probably like 8.
Well,
I'm going to take the 8-pounder.
Some of the girls were like that, and I'm not saying you're a girly girl, but
well.
You see that mustache? She's not a girly girl. Look at that mustache.
we talked about that earlier.
That's
and I
the
can't say
flavor
it on here
saver,
now.
baby.
We talked about that mustache earlier, but we can't say it on here now. But and you got the beard too. You got the mustache and the beard.
That's the flavor saver, baby.
There's the yeah.
That's that flavor saver, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that smells good. Yeah, I understand that one.
Anyway, that's why I low-key miss COVID.
Here we go. But we would do a sledge car, and we did that for
God, I'm
probably
dirty.
10, 12 different years, off and on different situations. And if you wanted the tail lights, that cost you $5. If you wanted the mirrors, that's a $5. If you wanted the side windows, that's $10. If you wanted the front windshield, that's $50.
I would have paid $50. I'm not gonna lie. I swear I would have
And if
paid
you wanted
$50.
the back
I would
windshield,
have had that moment and been so. Oh, it would have been
well,
so beautiful.
we even took pictures and posted it on the internet of you.
Nice.
So, hey, if you can do that, I love you, baby. And we'd raise money for all the different charities.
That's
And
awesome.
Over the years, we have donated very generously with many different charities.
That's awesome.
Sounds like you got. Oh, you go first.
I went out because his casket's knocking, and I know that Crazy Bob has to go, but there is extra Bobs that are coming along. We're going through a whole cycle in this episode. It's going to be a beautiful thing, and we are getting to the point where that casket is knocking. I want to have everybody walk through one question to Crazy Bob, and then you got to get in your casket because you got to be the new man you are now.
I promised I would be back. There's something in the casket waiting.
I would imagine so. Oh, it's Crazy Bob for a reason.
Well, all of us need a masseuse. And there's a masseuse waiting. So
I'm down.
I'm not going to stay with you guys and hang all night.
Oh, I know.
And I don't know what's in that bottle, but I know what's in my casket.
That's Elijah Craig.
I'm one of the few people that have a burial for two.
I love that. That's so funny.
Everybody's like, well, how do you do this? Well, You just got to know how to put it together, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, question.
All right, yeah, go around the circle.
So
Tell us your name so that everybody knows you.
Hi everybody, I'm Nick, and my question's for Crazy Bob.
Good.
Hi, Nick.
Well, Nikki.
Would we still be able to get like a tour of the history of the plant?
Well, now that you bring that up, I will answer that one in the simplest way that I can. I sold it as a turnkey operation, meaning I vetted the people who would buy it. I've had it up for sale for about 3 years. I've had many different people look at it in different situations. Financially, it's a big commitment. Mentally, it's a huge commitment in a business because it's not something that's done overnight.
Right.
It takes us about 6 to 8 months to build it every year because we really destroy it and start from scratch, or we recreate everything that's done with it.
That's what I loved watching when I growing up around there. I would always see them working months. I would be going out there to play golf, and I would see them start to walk out there and working around, and I'm like, why are you guys there? You got like 4 or 5 more months, but they're grinding, dude.
No, it actually takes a group of about 6 to 8 people working the weekends and some evenings during the week and things of that nature, and it takes about 6 to 8 months to rebuild it. Now, the person that approached me back in April, May, late April, 1st of May, struck my attention. His name is Kevin Stitch, very, very intelligent and highly motivated individual. He has been in the industry for about 15 years. He owns 7 active other major haunts in 5 different states.
Oh, wow.
And he bought the hydro to be one of his anchors for his Syndicate Hydro LLC.
Wow. Okay.
And next year he's putting in a bigger, better commitment for sound and for lighting and for different things because he didn't take it over until after halfway to Halloween.
Right.
I had already got everything going for halfway to Halloween. Every year we do a 2-day or really 3-day, but a 2-day major format for halfway to Halloween. And the preparations and activities, it was too fast, too quick, and he still had other haunts that he had to get ready and establish. So I finished it out to that point, and then in July, the actual transition from my to him, and that was, as I said, a turnkey. So once Crazy Bob walked out the door, I had to move my coffin.
Oh my God.
So no more.
I can't keep it on the property.
No
because
more history tours.
It's not my fault that bodies just disappear. It wasn't me. It was never me.
I love history. That's why I was just so intrigued about the building and stuff.
Kevin Stitch. Now, the one thing that is good about it, and I apologize for interrupting, the park manager's name is Casey Heath. Now, he lives locally. Kevin Stitch lives in Florida.
Nice.
But he's got places in Connecticut and Indiana and Kentucky and, all over. So, Casey Heath is the general park manager for me for 7 years. And he stayed on to help the new owner mesh it so that it didn't go in the wrong direction and that it continued to develop.
Honorable.
And if you want to take and get a hold of him, he's the park manager, Casey Heath. I would tell him that you would like to do an update and a year-end get-together. And, I can't answer for the new owner.
Right.
But I'm sure that they are looking forward to telling you bits and pieces about 2024 because it's going to be awesome, absolutely awesome. So I want you to understand that.
I'm excited to see it for sure.
Yeah, so am I. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh hell yeah!
I don't. They only let me out usually on the weekends.
Right. So you got to do what you got to do.
Does that answer your question, Nick?
Yeah.
You
Awesome.
sure?
Yes.
Okay, you satisfied?
Yeah.
Oh, little Nick.
I give it a 7.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the other side of the room here, sir.
Hi, I'm Cody.
You're what?
I'm Cody Ray.
Cody, C-O-D-I-E or C-O-D-Y?
C-O-D-I-E.
C-O-D-I-E. I just want to make sure I got it right on your gravestone, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. A lot of people will misspell it.
I know. Well, I'm. That's why I ask you both ways.
Yeah, appreciate
my
that.
chalkboard is the cheapest graveyard you can have.
Nice. Nice.
Well, my question is for Crazy Bob. A lot of seems like you have a lot of creative events and different functions going on. Like, what's your inspiration behind that? have you always been into like the Halloween themes and haunted houses, or
Nope.
you just kind of creating as
I
you
had
go?
I had to do the Halloween thing because when you own a golf course, golf season in Ohio is only 3 months.
Right. I
know, I
They
hate
claim it's 4, and sometimes if the weather's working perfectly before this what the hell they call that, carbon crap buildup, or weather hokey pokey thing going on. Well, you might even get 5 months of good weather where you can make money. But it's a short season with the golfing, and I wanted it for the banquet hall because the banquet hall was good for what we did there.
Right.
And then the Renaissance Village was built after we had been doing the haunted hydro for a number of years. Because once you get a key for a door, and you go in and you make it home, you just got to recreate and move the furniture around. You know what I
Just
mean?
keep
Yeah,
adding
yeah,
on,
yeah.
So I got bored. And I don't know if you've ever been to have you ever been to a Renaissance Village?
I have not.
Have you? Have you?
Once.
I know
Okay.
they be eating
have the
motherfucking
Renaissance
them
fair in
turkey
Tiffin.
legs
The
on
turkey
the
legs?
stair out, and
See,
the
you're thinking of
jousting,
eating.
and the big old titties in the dresses.
my engineer back there. Have you ever been to?
No.
Okay,
no, I
Great
haven't.
Lakes is another one near us. Renaissance in Ohio, Renaissance, and there's 2 or 3 of them different, in Ohio that you should go to. You like the turkey legs. You understand that.
Well, I'd rather have a ham bone. I seen in cartoons they do ham bones.
I go because the winches are wearing those.
Yeah, the winches, baby.
The wenches.
The winches are and they have the singing winches, they have the laundry winches, and then they got the town's winches. I go because it's fun.
About winch.
If you ever get the chance to do it, we did it for 4 years. It was called Medieval Fantasy Fair. Great run, great activities.
awesome.
But when we had the 9/11,
Fucking winch.
we had to curtail and pull back and restart with our activities and events. And financially, we had to make a new commitment to keep it simple, stupid. Do the
Right.
it's called a KISS
KISS.
method. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we keep it simple, stupid, and we had rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt until where we are today. So. And again, that's with many good people helping us along the way.
Shout
and many
out.
good staff to
Yeah.
the people that stood by us, and all of the patrons who supported us through thick and thin. So when we sold the golf course, it went to Green Hills, which became River Cliff. Green Hills absorbed and got the initial activities going.
Wait, it's not Green Hills. What was the name prior?
Thornwood Public Golf
Thornwood
Course.
Yes,
Public.
Thornwood Public Golf Course sold it to Green Hills, but it became River Cliff, which was a subsidy. It was all in the family of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Crockett's, good people. Last but not least, then it was sold to Black Swamp Observatory. Now, that's a charity organization that loves nature, loves duck hunting,
It's
and
a
all that
nature
other fun
preserve
stuff.
now.
And they donated it to the Sandusky County Park District. And that's where their new offices are. Andy, big shout out to you there, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And it was just renamed because they got another major benefactor. The gentleman who owned Miller Pipeline passed away, and he left a major financial asset. And it's now going to be able to go into the second phase, and you're going to see all kinds of great things happening with
awesome.
Sandusky County.
That's awesome. Hell yeah, look at that.
So, as life evolves, we evolve, and I evolved to sell the Haunted Hydro to Kevin Stitch, and that allowed me to go and do other things. And actually, we're going to say, as you said, I have you yet to ask, but we'll let it be known that, Crazy Bob's evolved. And tonight on this podcast, the revelation's coming out. And no, I'm not taking all my clothes off.
Not all of them.
Damn it.
Just his pants.
The dude back there's got a big smile on his face.
Boy.
See what I mean?
Where the winch is
Now,
at?
it's your turn, my man.
Hello, my name is Travis. I have a question for Crazy Bob.
Where the winch is
This
at?
one is going to rattle you a little bit. You've been talking all night about how you're thankful for all the people that have come and helped you out, all the patrons, everybody that has attended. Is there one scare, one talent that stands out above all? Is there one person that just made everybody scared? And is it a character of the person? Is it the person itself? Who's that one person that was just the knight in shining armor every year?
Well, there is
a team of them.
There's a team.
No, that's why I'm going to answer that with the best way that I can justify. There is no I in the word team, and you used it very well. What I can tell you is that as Crazy Bob, the character, for 34 years, I was not a boss.
Oh.
I was the person, when you came in, that greeted you and sized you up. I looked at who you were with, where you were from. I looked at what family was with you or what friends were with you, and I sized you up immediately. The thing for a good haunt is to understand what people are coming for. They pay a big buck. We were not a cheap location. We were not extravagant, but we were not a cheap location. And I honestly felt that every person who came in and paid an entry fee, no matter what it was for, they needed to get the bang for the buck. And I would size you up. And I would not let you leave till either I mesmerized you with something funny, or just like I did earlier tonight, you told me that I scared the crap out of you when you came to my front door.
I love this answer.
I then reiterated that if I did it then, I can still do it today.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what? Yeah, baby!
I love that answer.
Yeah,
That's
I love
that's a
that.
great answer.
So
Everybody knew Crazy Bob.
I could tell you if you had come in and you had been consuming mass quantities of alcohol, I could tell you if you'd been out puffing on those green funny things. I could tell you if you had a little bit of attitude because you were the team football player and you're big and you're bad and nobody's going to scare you.
My
That
girlfriend's
was the
prom
perfect
queen.
person that I'm going to radio everybody. And I always had radios and I always had messages and I had tricks up my sleeve.
Really?
You're like, hey,
So that
get his
when
ass.
people came through, screw with me.
Oh, okay.
Screw
I
with me.
love that.
You are going to get it one way or the other before you leave our property.
I love it. He said, bitch, come get it.
So the bottom line is that it wasn't an I. It was a complete team effort. And I had what was known as the key staff. And the key staff had minions. And the minions were the ones that we would pass signals along. Oh, the guy's wearing an Irish black shirt. Got the clover on it. Make sure you roll him over. Crazy Bob said, make sure he ends up a little bit dead.
He's got bars, dude.
That was hard.
Got it. No, I would
was hard as
imagine that would happen, and I figured that the answer might roll up that alley. But truthfully, before you go back in the casket, it was a pleasure talking to Crazy Bob tonight because as a kid, you scared the everlasting shit out of me.
Well, I apologize, and I
And all
wasn't-
the good, no, don't you dare apologize to that.
Well, no, I'm not apologizing for scaring you.
Oh, well, fuck it then. Do you
I'm
apologize for what else you want?
I'm apologizing that I didn't remember because I wasn't joking when I said there are many people who came, and after a period of about 4 or 5 years, I would see the transition because in our case, as one of the longest, oldest, biggest, and best, and I don't fluff it, we were documented with those awards. I was into my 3rd generation of families for 34 years. The grandparents were bringing the grandchildren. They brought their children had babies, and they were bringing, we were doing 3rd generation. And I could remember a lot of them, not everybody, but, especially when these new girls, I love you. I love every girl, just FYI. And yes, my wife has put up with me for 38 years. Thank you, Beth. I love you.
Shout out, Beth.
And these girls are wearing blue hair and green hair and orange hair and red hair. All I can tell you is it makes a man crazy when you don't remember what we did before. So all I can tell you is, don't worry. I still love y'all, but that I can't remember the scare at the door, and very few people come to my door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Once they come, they never come back.
I'd fucking imagine.
So, does that answer your question?
It most certainly does. That casket's knocking, good sir. I need you to go back in there
Okay.
and go give your company.
I'm gonna take a pause for the cause. No, I'm not going to the bathroom and taking a leak. I have to mentally prepare myself for the alter ego because the Crazy Bob has now left the building. Although I will tell you, unfortunately, this podcast won't air until what date?
Monday. This is for Monday.
Oh, Monday.
This upcoming Monday.
Okay, Monday. Well, it will be a beneficial, and I'll explain why. But because tomorrow night, which is not going to reach you guys in the right podcast time, but I am doing a Ghoulabration down at the Moonshine nightclub, and we did it as a precursor. Every Thursday during the month of October, Crazy Bob got to come out and got to play more ways than I should have. We had Halloween trivia. We did a one night all dedicated to the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's awesome.
And more fun. Oh, my God. We had a lot of things that came in that were strange, really, really strange that night in costume and activities. And we're doing it again tomorrow night. So all you guys, if you will do me a favor, go on, tell everybody about the podcast, and then tell them, hey, tomorrow night, it's no cover charge. We are giving away from 5 to 7. We are doing the family-friendly community trunk or treat program, finishing up what started at the Fremont Rec Department. Because last Saturday, when it was being done, remember that great big rainstorm that came? We had 3,000 plus people at that trunk or treat, and there was more coming. And the rain caught us. And I was supposed to do the costume contest. Crazy Bob was let out just to do the costume contest for the trunk or treat. And we had to cancel it. So they gave us the day passes for the rec department, which means every child that comes down there is going to get a free pass to go to the Fremont Rec Center for swimming or for ice skating or for summer use or whatever the case may be. They get a free day pass, courtesy of the Fremont Rec Department. We want to say a big shout out to Cody, the director up there, who said, let's make sure we get these out.
Cody.
Shout out to Cody. And the other one, and Mayor Sanchez, thank you very much for what you're doing for the city of Fremont and letting them have the trunk or treat at the Fremont Rec Department. Because Crazy Bob and the former Rec Department gentleman started the trunk or treat. We started the trunk or treat in Fremont 15 years ago.
I love that.
So, and it's still continuing on today, bigger and better. They had over 60 vendors there with... You need 5,000 pieces of candy.
That's
Oh, wow.
You have to be, last year was 5,000 people. 5,000 people, and the majority of that's kids that get trick or treat candy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know how much 5,000 pieces of candy cost?
That's probably, yeah. Yeah, that's some
I had to
fine.
do things. I had to hold up a lamppost and say, "Crazy Bob's available, boys and girls. I need candy for my kiddies." You know.
I love it.
Well,
Candy for
I said I
kitties.
need candy, but I didn't know if their kitties was the right word or not. So
Goodness
anyway,
gracious.
anyway, that's what we did, and we're going to do that this Thursday, 5 to 7, and then from 8 to 11 o'clock is adult.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And it's costume contest and all kinds of stuff. We're doing trivia. We're doing trick or treat type of games, and some of them are very naughty.
I love that.
Some of them are very naughty. You guys have to come.
This is going to be past tense when you're hearing this, but hopefully everything went very well for that. And I'd imagine if Crazy Bob was running it, it went extraordinary.
Well, we're hoping that it does do. And I hear that knocking over there. I hear knocking. Yeah.
Yep. Is that knocking? Yep.
Is that
Yep.
knocking?
All right.
Is that knocking?
We'll be right back.
Is that?
All right, and we are back with
Who's this guy?
who are you?
Ta-da! 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 Ta-da!
Hello. How are you, Bob?
Bob, it is Crazy Bob, but Hydro Bob is gone.
Hydro Bob is gone. Crazy Bob is here.
Crazy Bobby.
Crazy, not Hydro Bob is here.
You see, finally, I found a method to my madness.
Is that so?
Yeah. I love people. I miss people. And Hydro Bob sold to Hydro. So it made me sad.
Oh.
And I needed to get out and have a little fun.
Okay.
What does this say up here?
I'm Bob doing Bob things.
I'm Bob, and I'm doing Bob things.
Oh.
That's a good hat. That is definitely a good hat.
I'm Bob, and it was given to me by a very dear lady, Laura. Hi, Laura.
Shout out, Laura.
Shout out to Laura, who lives now in Fremont and is doing very good. Long-term person for Whirlpool, Kayaks Salon up there, and the big wigs areas and that kind of stuff. And she gave me this hat, and she says it fits you perfectly. And I agree. You see, Crazy Bob loves entertainment.
Okay.
Crazy Bob needs to stay active. And Crazy Bob craves people.
All right.
Not to slice and dice.
Right.
Those days are gone.
Yeah, long gone. Hydro's gone.
And never abuse. Love.
Love, baby.
We got a loving Bob.
Love.
We got the love Bob.
I like
It's
love.
the Crazy Bob that loves people.
This is like the Mick Foley of Bobs, dude.
All
That's the
ages,
Bob
all
Ross.
styles. And here's the best part. I'm now at the point in my life where I want to do things that I want to do.
Hell
Right.
yeah.
So what does Bob enjoy?
Yeah, what does Bob want to do?
You went from Crazy Bob
Well,
to Groovy
I'm
Bob.
married, so that one thing there is gone.
Yep, we all know that. Yep.
But if you really want to talk to me, the girls, you're just anyway. What I would say is
He's crazy.
is that you have to. I've traveled the world. I have worked for 1 month at a time, 7 years in Australia.
Okay.
And then 1 year, I think they shipped me over to another country down there, and it was just wonderful. I worked for Hollywood Horror.
Nice.
And we did the haunted stuff for the Royal Easter Show, which is like a world convention. It's almost 1 million people for 14 days.
That's crazy.
Huge.
That's wild.
And since that time, now I'm ready to settle back down and relive a little Mother Nature. I want to go back to my roots. And something everybody doesn't know about Crazy Bob, I was in scouting. I was in the Boy Scouts
Where are you?
for almost 50 years.
Oh, Eagle Scout?
I was an Eagle Scout.
That's awesome.
I have been a Scoutmaster for 5 years throughout the activities. I sat on different councils and board of reviews
That's
for the
awesome.
Eagle Scouts.
Wow.
And I went to 3 national jamborees, 1 world jamboree in Japan, which a typhoon came through, typhoon number 91.
Oh my gosh.
And that was 1971. by the
Holy
way.
shit.
I've hiked across Fremont, the National Scout Ranch. I've been to the Charles L. Summer Canoe Base, which is something I thoroughly enjoyed. So I got to do a lot of different things and a lot of travels, and I did in 1970 what was called the European Scout Friendship Tour, where I traveled from Finland all the way down to Amsterdam.
That's so cool.
And
Oh,
I did get to see
how many days?
the Canal Street.
Nice.
The red light district.
It's a what?
Did you go to the red light district?
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
I thought they was just friendly ladies.
Yeah, with all the red lights around.
Well, they're not all red lights.
Oh.
Some of them were green. Anyway,
I'm like, I'm trying to put my ATM card in the window.
it was a European Scout Friendship Tour. I don't understand what you're talking about, but all I can tell you is it was a lot of fun, and it gave me a chance to see the world.
Heck yeah.
The quick story to that one, it's a Bob thing.
Doing Bob things.
In Hamburg, Germany, the original Lowenbrow foundry and a castle is there. And as a European exchange student, I got to go through the foundry. And they have a hospitality room. So you get to have snacks of cheeses and breads and crackers.
Goddamn charcuterie board.
And you get to sample the different beers.
That is beautiful.
And 2 other guys were with me, and the 3 of us went in the morning for the morning tour. And it's not, back in those days, for 1970, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Well, finally, at about 8 o'clock that night, one of the staff got a car to take us to our youth hostel.
Oh, my gosh.
And we were kind of overwhelmed with their hospitality.
Oh, my gosh.
You got there in the morning, you said?
We were there from 8 in the morning, or from 8 in the morning until about 8 at night. The truth of the matter is
that's a solid shift right there.
That's a full shift,
yeah.
and we were
That's
full
some
of
overtime.
We were full of it. So,
speaking of being overwhelmed, Bob, what's going on with you, Bob? What's happening over here? You're looking a little shaky. You're looking a little. He's got his cocoa, Bob.
Catch it.
With my mouth.
What?
boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Crazy Bob left Europe and found out that he can't drink beer anymore in the rest of his life. And to this day, I don't drink beer.
Really?
Why not?
But all I can tell you, you're going to ask me about why am I wearing a new hat, right?
Yeah. What happened?
So ask me.
Why are you wearing a new hat?
Well, gentlemen,
Is this sailing, Bob?
one of the things that I found out while I was touring Europe is that I like ladies.
Yep. Ladies
And
are
if you're
pretty
nice
good.
to a lady, it's always good.
Maybe I have to go to Europe.
So I'm telling you, it's worth the
You
trip.
can buy a
If you
wife.
Ever? Well, I didn't. They didn't. Nobody would buy. Nobody. I couldn't afford that. Anyway, let's go back, and I'll keep going with this one. But see up here, what does it say, sir? What does it say?
Girls gone cruising.
Girls gone cruising. Now,
There you
did you
go.
know water relaxes the mind?
I did.
And do you know that scenic beauty gives you zen? And that's one of the
Zen.
things that I like. So I found out that it's kind of the shirt right here. It says Ghouls Running Kayak Adventures.
What is that?
Well, that is what Crazy Bob does now. I no longer do haunted. I no longer do haunted. I do kayaking.
Oh,
What
hell
a
yeah.
turn!
High adventure kayaking. And I do
That's a workout,
I do
too.
natural kayaking. We go from 8.5 up to 16-foot kayaks.
Some
we
big
do,
boys.
We do the big boys. We do the touring kayaks. We do the whitewater kayaks. Yeah, there's 5 different types of kayaks, by the way, gentlemen. And I just happen to have the certification because at my point, it's like if you don't want to go out and have fun, you might as well be dead. Haunted Hydro, Crazy Bob, may you rest in peace.
Quick
But-
moment of silence for Haunted Hydro, Crazy Bob. Thank you.
May he rest in peace. But I, on the other hand, I want to live life, and I will tell you for the last 3 years, I've had the pleasure of going down the Sandusky River, which has a 2.5 class rapids section, especially in the early spring. Now, for those of you that don't know what that means there's good whitewater rafting down the Sandusky River. It's not all the way up and down the river. There's just certain sections that are available to partake in. But Ghouls Running Kayak Adventures now has from Tiffin, Ohio, all the way to Lake Erie.
Oh.
That's
It
insane.
is. I used to.
Yeah, and
I used
I'm going
to
to tell
live
you
by
about
the
that
Sandusky
a little
River.
bit later. It's for all ages. We also have a water reservoir where we can take you for educational classes and training and understanding why kayaking is so much more fun and what was the difference between canoes to kayaks and how does this work and what are the activities. Why, we could even take sound engineers that never get out of their office or out of that sound booth and take them up and make them have a good time.
I think he's talking shit about you.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I missed that. I caught it now.
I watched your face go.
Little pussy.
What? What is he still talking about me?
So
You
anyway,
stinky
I'm just
pussy.
telling everybody I found my true love. I found
love
my
that
true
for you.
calling. We now have 3 touring buses to pull the people where they got to go. And we have 4 trailers. Our super trailer carries 24 kayaks at one time.
Man.
And we have one that carries 14 and then 2 others that carry 12 from our beginnings because we started out at 25 kayaks.
Okay.
And we now have the second season we had 50. And this year we had 85. And by next year we're going to have 125 watercraft going down the river at all that points. And we have 5 tour guides that are certified with the training, as well as an EMT that's certified, who has level 1 and level 2. I'm only level 1. Level 2 is also the whitewater training. Now, I'm qualified to do whitewater activities from A to Z. And yes, I have my fancy skirt. No, don't look at me like that. I don't wear a skirt. It's a cover that goes over your kayak so that you can roll your kayak.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can roll your kayak in the water, and you can have all kinds of fun. Where everybody's like, he's drowning. It's like, no, I'm doing this because I want to have fun.
I'm doing little fancy moves.
That's right, and we are able to do that at the reservoir with educational classes for Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, campfire people. We do it for families and reunions and things of that nature. We do it for church groups. We do it for a wide range of people so that we can take them out where it's safe. And we've got docks, and we've got rescue. We even have a rescue golf cart that is made just with the kayaks and with the inflatables, the throw rings, the reach rings, and that has the automatic dialer to go to for backup if necessary.
Okay.
We own our own defibrillator now with our companies.
Look at
and
that.
things of that nature. Yeah, they're about $3,000. They're
My
not cheap.
Lord, that's not cheap.
But that's what we do with that. And so we also have sunsets, and something that you guys, knowing that you do this podcast, I am daring you. As my guest, you will be free. I am daring you to go down for our moonlight. We do 2 nights
Yes, that would be awesome.
every month during June, July, August, and into September. And we do the day before the full moon and the day of the full moon. And we go down the river without lights.
That's awesome. I
That
really want to do
sounds
that.
fun.
We go down the
Dude,
river
that
without
sounds
lights.
So
That
cool.
sounds so
Now,
peaceful.
there is a bow and there is a stern light on the kayaks so that we can keep them visible at all times.
Yep.
And we have special markers for the guides. Now, all of our trips down the river, you are required to go with us as guides because we don't just turn you loose. It's just not
safe at
It's
all.
not our style
Yeah,
of
100%.
kayaking. So there is many other locations. Check with you before you go. It is called Ghoul Running because Crazy Bob was involved.
Yeah.
It was the Haunted Hydro. And we now have a sister company that we still own, and we are taking it bigger and better than ever before. And it's called Ghoul Running Kayak Adventures.
Is
Whoa.
is Tiffin the furthest south that you go? with
That is correct.
'Cause
And
I
we
used-
do that because of timing. That's why I reached down, because I know that you can't see this, boys and girls, but we have a full map. And I'll hold it up in front of you so I can talk and not block the mic.
Yeah,
But-
here, I'll show that.
Okay.
I'll show that. For
That what that is, we have 18 locations where we put in and take out. That's 4 2-hour trips. And then we have many more that are different 4-hour trips. So we have 2-hour trips and 4-hour trips for all of the area of Northwest Ohio. Now, on the backside of this, it also has kayaking tips, because we know that there's a lot of people that go out, buy a kayak, and I'm God's gift to going down the river. Yeah! Well, no, ladies and gentlemen, you need to learn the river is not forgiving. You can swamp, you can get in trouble, you can get caught between logs and rocks and things of that nature. So it's very important that you get some education, and we do educational programs for people that just buy their kayaks and want to get the safe procedures and techniques that are needed to keep you alive. And as Crazy Bob, I look at it and I'll take you and we'll have more fun than should be allowed by law.
Oh,
But at
hell
the
yeah.
same time, it's not a place to go get drunk. It's not a place to go get high. It's not a place to take small children if they can't swim. Now, you have to have life jackets. You have to have education on what to do when something happens and what's the safety procedure to reclaim and readjust and regroup, because you can break a bone at any time. So our company policy is you have to watch a in-house video of what the river is, what the river can do, and what's the safety procedure. You know, when you start and get a driver's license, they make you watch those wreck films where, oh my God, everybody gets killed. Yeah, well, we make you understand that the river can do the same thing, and there is no forgiving on the river. So that's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, as what I used to fish all the time, I learned the hard way on this one. But what's going on with you again? What's going on with you right now?
Well,
it seems like
I feel transition coming. I feel good. I feel good.
Whoa.
What is going on with your head? What is going? Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh! Why is that twisting?
What is this now?
Well, boys and girls and anybody that loves the water, have we got a place for you to go this year? Coming up in May, June, July, and August, and into September, as long as the weather's permitting. Crazy Bob's going down the river, and I've got 4 other great people that help me as tour guides, and then we got trainees as well. We've got all different types of watercraft, sit-ins and sit-ons.
Oh, okay.
There's 5 different types of watercraft, and we've got something for everybody. When we were talking earlier, you talked about you like to go fishing.
Yeah.
We own 12 fishing kayaks. So you got rod holders in them. You got
fancy ones.
You got a place to put your jug where you can have a cocktail or a medicinal beverage or lemonade. I don't make judgments. I don't make judgments, but Crazy Bob's telling you, you need to come up. Go to Ghoul's Running Kayak Adventures, Facebook or online. Website is ghoulrunnings.com. Yeah, that's from the movie Cool Running.
Yes,
where the
sir.
hippie.
We're going to get drunk on the river.
And by the way, it's owned by a female.
That's hot.
It's owned by a female.
Huh?
My wife.
Hey,
yo.
I
I didn't want to admit it, but I work for my wife, and I got to keep money coming in the door so I can support her. So please, ghoulrunning.com, Sandusky River, Northwest Ohio, and there is very, very little that is commercial going down the river. There is beauty. We have 3 Eagle's Nest on the front section, and on the back section, we have 2 Eagle's Nest. The Sandusky River has 18 total from its 133-mile tributary. We have 18 Eagle's Nest. We are second in the state of Ohio for Eagle's Nest.
That is beautiful.
So
I feel like people going down that water will get a very nice scenery and a very nice enjoyment.
And you will see, there's a chance you will see turkeys. There's a chance you will see a deer on a regular basis, raccoons, you name it. It's all up and down this river, and it's there. And as far as the bird people, because we have one of the biggest bird watching scenarios that come in the early part of the spring, and we invite you to come up and take a trip down the river. It's very delicate because you have to watch. If you are using cameras and things of that nature, you need special type of kayaks, and we have those available. Again, it's based on body weight. It's, of course, we provide life jackets, and we provide paddles, and we provide safety preliminary things that we know that you're going to need, like when you wear glasses, and some of us have no choice but to wear a glass, you need to have a strap on. Yeah. Because when you lean over,
gotta have a strap
glasses are not cheap. They can be anywhere from $300 to $700 or more, so you don't want to lose them. We have the straps for those. If you take a cell phone, most cell phones are $600 to $1,000 or more. We have those bags that you need to go up and down the river and things of that nature. This is Crazy Bob, the American kayak instructor, certified by the American Canoe Association. So, and we're
sounds
proud.
like you take care of your customers.
I take care of every one of my customers.
A perfectly splendid time that maybe the goons can get down there at the beginning of the year or the beginning of your season, and we'll take a nice little stroll. How does that sound?
you got free privileges. Now and I don't mind telling you, because when I go on the radio air, they tell me you can't tell the price. I'm on a podcast, right?
Yep.
It's $35 a person, and that is good for all the 2 hours, the equipment, and the bus ride up and back. And they tell you that if you really had a great trip and you did the right thing and you had a good guide, tip the guide.
Tip the
dude that helps you out. Now, we don't have any ladies yet, so we're looking for ladies to come and be guides.
Come on, girls.
So get that in hand. We do church groups. We do school groups. We do class reunions. We do bachelor and bachelorette parties.
That sounds
so
fun.
we do a lot of different things, a lot of different places, and a lot of different activities on there. And we have, like I said, the sunsets on Friday and Saturday. You can come up to the water reservoir. It's way up there on the top areas. Because it has 80 feet of containment. So it's all the way up above the treetops, and you can see 360 beautiful sky all the way around you, and you can watch this mesmerizing sunset with grays and blues and purples and greens. There is greens to the
That
clouds.
sounds like the time that we need to be on there. We need to be on there so we can get the whole.
And if you have a lady with you, what we tell you is bring the coffee mug. Bring the coffee mug. You know, a sip of wine watching the sunset is so beautiful. Romance is in the air. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. And the guys with mustaches, they should absolutely take advantage of it.
I fucking love it.
Warmer.
I will say, Crazy Bob, it has been a absolute splendid time learning all the different chapters in your life, from the beginning to the middle to the now. Seems like you're having the best time.
I am, and I want to say thank you to being on the podcast. You know, when they said, well, can you go do Booger? I said, well, yeah, I got one right here. Oh, look at that one. I'm just joking.
I was like, don't wipe it on me. I know you're a sick, twisted
like,
man
yeah.
still.
I was going to do it to him, but you know.
I was like, get his ass. I looked at him and we made that look, and I was like, yeah, get his ass.
I love it. Round of applause for Crazy Bob in the studio tonight. Thank you so much. Let them know where they can find you or any of the events that you're doing on social media, or where they can just find you.
Well, I'm gonna bow out, and again, I'm gonna leave you guys because I know you have more coming on the show. With some information about upcoming activities, right?
Oh, yeah, well, we can take care of that at our own time. This is about you, Crazy.
Well, all I can say is it was a delightful pleasure. Our engineer didn't say very much, but, you know, I'm hoping that it came out good. You guys have been gracious to let me come down and dominate the mic. I don't know how I do that, but I do.
Oh, you're great. No, it was a great time.
And all I can tell you is I wish the podcast the very best. Make sure that if you heard me here tonight, that you type it in. Is that the way you do to get, information back?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can comment.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what are you
comment or like it, the video.
Yeah. They can comment.
Hey, I want you guys to blow this group out of the water. I want you to respond. Crazy Bob's the best and needs to come back next spring.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And in the meantime, join the Crazy Bob Club. Mm-hmm. Oh, did I forget to mention that?
Yep.
You're kicking me off there. Crazy Bob Club. It's Facebook. I own Crazy Bob Club. And Crazy Bob Club's doing lots of stuff. And when I say that, there's a skydiving event that's coming up next spring. I've already been
Cody
skydiving.
Ray, what are the odds?
It's tandem. I don't do it by
We're not
myself.
doing it.
It's
What are
tandem.
the odds, Cody Ray?
Hey, up in Michigan, it's only $300.
Cody
and
Ray,
that's everything.
what are the fucking odds?
Dude, why you gotta do this?
What are the odds, Cody Ray? What are the odds? It's a game we play on the podcast.
What are the fucking
1 out of
odds?
67.
Ooh.
3, 2, 1.
32.
43.
You said 4-3?
43.
I thought you said 4-3.
I don't like
It's a what are the odds?
I
You pick
know,
a
bro.
number between 1 or 100, and if they get that, then they got to do it.
You don't like heights?
No.
For 11 years, I did industrial construction, and I was kind of a punch list guy. So I did everything from sewage treatment plants to hospitals to Davis-Besse nuclear power plant. And while there, for 3.5 years, my last 6 months were in the Davis-Besse nuclear power plant cooling tower, replacing asbestos baffles, 541 feet in the air. That's 54 floors up.
I hate everything about what you.
And I walked around that bell on top.
Oh,
you
shit.
can see Canada on a good day. You can see Canada all the way over there. And this shout out that I'll end it with goes out to Labor Local 480 out of Sandusky, Ohio. And I want to say it was a great 11 years that I put in. That's how I was able to save money and buy the golf course. That's how the golf course did the Medieval Fantasy Fair. That's how the two came to be. And the Haunted Hydro, after 34 years, just kicked in. And that's how we started out 3 years ago, now into our 4th year for Ghouls Running Kayak Adventures. It's been a pleasure. You guys have been grand.
Thank
and
you.
I thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
On behalf
Yeah,
of you.
thank you for coming.
Don't do anything we wouldn't do. We'll catch you guys on
Do it all.
Friday.
Or do.
Peace.
Shut up!